Greetings, royal family. Okay, I watched. Lifetime has a new like mini series, mini docu series called "Hopelessly in Love." Now, I found out about "Hopelessly in Love" because of something that I seen regarding Faith. Faith is going to be on the next episode. The story of Faith and Biggie. Then I said, okay, the season started. So I went back and I realized that they already had the first episode, which was about Lisa Left Eye Lopez and Andre Rison. So I said, okay, let me check it out. So it was actually really good. Lifetime finally got something right after that whole debacle. Okay. So this was really good. Hopefully a lot of you know who Lisa Left Eye Lopez is, right? The third member of TLC. And she passed away in a terrible car accident. I think it was in 2002. I was in college. I remember that whole ordeal. So anyway, so this was good. Andre Rison was giving commentary. She had commentary. There was commentary from Lisa's sister. Oh my gosh, she looks just like her. She's a spitting image of her. Her best friend, her first cousin, her mom, Andre's mom, and Andre's sister. Hopefully you guys seen it so you can understand my disgust. So as far as growing up, she grew up in a household, Lisa that is. She had a sister and a brother. She grew up with her mom and dad. Her father was abusive to the mother, according to the mother. The father was like verbally abusive. He would always yell. I think he was in the military, so they traveled a lot. He was murdered. This was after Lisa's mother and him divorced or separated. So he was murdered. Andre Rison's father was also murdered, as well as his stepfather. So I guess they shared, they had things in common, like pain. So anyway, let's get into Andre's sister real quick, okay? She is totally jealous, point blank, period. She was mean. She said that she brought Andre's ex-girlfriend to his house when Lisa and him were dating, and she knew it. Like, just her attitude, like, she really irritated me. Throughout this docuseries, and she seemed proud that she was like mean to Left Eye. She was very, very, very jealous. Now they go into talking about Andre and his cheating. Now he said that he loves female company and he wasn't sleeping with anyone else other than Lisa when they were together. So, people didn't believe that. And the night that Lisa burnt down the house, she caught him in the house with another woman. So this is his explanation. He said that Left Eye was going out one night with her girls, or she was going out somewhere, and she told him that a car was going to be coming for her. Like, he had a whole bunch of cars, and she didn't want to drive any of those. A driver was coming to pick her up. So he thought that that was odd. This is his explanation. And he thought that that was odd. He said something just urged him to get up and look outside and see who's coming to pick her up. So he said he peeked his head out, and he saw the car that was picking her up, and he saw Tupac was in the back seat. He said that he went inside and he didn't say anything because he did hear rumors about them messing around. He was cool with Tupac. He was cool with Suge Knight. So the rumors that he heard about them messing around, like, he wasn't excited about that because it's like, this is his boy. So I guess he thought that she was cheating and he returned the favor. So Left Eye decided, I think she said that was the first time that she set some things, some teddy bears or something like that on fire in his house. But the fire that everybody knew about, that was all over the news, was Left Eye. She got tired of Andre like staying out late, messing with other girls, cheating. So this night she decided to get dressed up, put on a nice tight dress, and go out with her girls. And she decided that she's gonna come home late or early in the morning, just like he comes home early in the morning, right? So she comes home and Andre goes off. So they start arguing and fighting, and the sister gives the account that she heard, like, furniture moving basically in the bedroom. And after she said she blacked out, Lisa said that she blacked out because they showed old footage of her talking about this, the situation, talking about the night that led up to her almost burning down the entire mansion. Okay. So She says that they were fighting and arguing. He was pushing her down on the bed, and she says she blacked out and I guess went to sleep. When she woke up, she went to the bathroom and she said that she noticed that her face was bruised very badly. So she was so mad. So she went to his closet. She saw all of these new sneakers and she started putting them in the bathtub and she set the sneakers on fire. Now she was hoping that the same thing would take place when she set the teddy bears on fire the first time, that it would be like, you know, put out or whatever. It wouldn't get this big. Well, it got out of control. So after she set this mansion ablaze, okay, she was arrested, and Andre was like riding his motorcycle, going to different jails in the area trying to find her, and he ended up bailing her out, and they stayed together after that. Now, Andre's sister, she said that she was upset and that Lisa needed to go to jail for what she did, and she needs to be held accountable for her actions. And she did almost make me cuss because I guess she thinks it's okay for her brother to put hands on Left Eye, right? And she said nothing about that throughout this whole, the commentary that she gave. She said nothing about what it is her brother did. You know, everything was Lisa's fault. And she needs, I think she probably didn't have a man. She needed to find herself some business. And just her facial expression, she was just like, she needed to be held accountable for what she did. You know, she was doing too much, but you could tell she never cared for her because she had nothing nice to say about her from the gate, like when she first met her. So Left Eye, she was charged with first-degree arson, and she was sentenced to 3 months in a halfway house. Now, she is very lucky because there was another charge too, and that came with some years with a Z. So she was really, really lucky. And Andre, he stood by her side. He was there with her in and out of court, and he was really worried that she was going to get locked up, even when he talked about it. And when he gave his account and his commentary. So she went to a halfway house. That's where she met one of her best friends. She was on a documentary as well. Kind of took care of her in the halfway house. And, you know, Lisa was very kind and people were using her for her money. She would give this person money to make phone calls and this and that. And this best friend just like, nope, that stops today. You know, she's not giving you any more money. So she kind of like looked out for her and protected her. So she was also sentenced to probation and a fine. I think it was like $5,000. Now back to the sister. Now she stopped talking to her brother, okay? She stopped talking to Andre because he and Left Eye got back together. Now the mother, Andre's mother, said that she was very upset about it, and she couldn't believe that Left Eye would do something like that. But she said that she didn't hate her and she didn't stop talking to her. You know, in other words, she know what her son gives. Anyway, the sister also said that Left Eye needed psychological help, and she said it in just a nasty way. Anyway, let me get off his sister. So Andre's Andre missed Lisa. So while she's in the halfway house, you know, he visited, he was sending letters and things like that. And he did hold her down while she was away. And he said that he felt bad. Now, this was prior to him signing to the Browns. And after that, the visits were far apart. It wasn't as frequent as it used to be. And he should feel guilty. You know what took place the night before, bruising up that girl like that. I gotta watch what I say on here before they demonetize me. So when he signed to the Browns, you know, he just kind of like got distant, and that caused Lisa to go into like a depression. She started like cutting herself and stuff like that. She got really, really sad. So he talked about after she got out of jail, things were just not the same. I mean, they tried and tried and tried. But it was just like the rumors were still circulating about Tupac, and it was just too much going on. And not to mention, he wasn't faithful. You know, he accused her of being intimate with Tupac, and, you know, people from his camp was saying like, nah, you know, they're just friends, they're just cool. So he did talk about the two miscarriages that they experienced, and he was emotional when he was talking about it. I didn't even know that. You know, he felt like, this is somebody who I want to be with. You know, they discussed marriage. They tried, but it didn't happen. And what did I want to say? Oh, the Grammys. I'm sorry, that was a long pause. So TLC was nominated for a Grammys. So the night of the Grammys, right, this particular Grammy event, they were broken up. Andre and Lisa were broken up, right? And she takes Tupac with her to the Grammys, not Andre. So again, there's rumors circulating about them, messing around and stuff like that. And Andre got in. People are like, they don't understand how it is, that he got into the Grammys. But he got in and he was looking for Left Eye. So they got Suge Knight during this segment. All the way from the prison house, y'all. They got Suge Knight on the phone, and he was basically kind of giving his account, because remember, Andre was cool with Tupac, and he was also cool with Suge Knight. So Pac and Left Eye ended up leaving the Grammys, so he didn't really find her. So they left together, and Suge Knight said that Tupac and Left Eye weren't messing around, but Andre, he didn't believe it. He didn't believe it at all. So after Tupac was killed, Left Eye, she was definitely sad. And Andre was sad too, because he felt that was his boy. A lot of people were saying that Tupac and her were soulmates and stuff. And I'm saying to myself, really? I had no idea. I just want to know how many women Pac were in love with, because weren't the people in them saying that he was soulmates with Jada Pinkett, right? Like, wasn't that the whole story? Anyway, so now Tupac is gone, and now they discuss further getting married. So Lisa even went as far as to pick out a venue. They really, really talked about this, but it didn't work out. It just didn't work out, because Andre feels that Lisa wasn't ready for it. She wasn't ready for marriage. So that ended up causing them to break up, like, for good. So Left Eye, she ends up calling Suge Knight. Suge Knight is giving his account of when she tried to separate from her label. I think it was LaFace. Remember, they were getting robbed left and right over there. So she decided to kind of distance herself from TLC, and she wanted to do her own thing. So Left Eye basically calls up Suge, and she wanted to be independent musically. So Suge Knight claims that Lisa, she moved in with all her bags and all her stuff or whatever, and she never left. And he did say that he had relations with her. And Andre is listening to the phone call that they're playing, and he just has nothing to say. He said that he was turned all the way off by that. He says, Suge Knight is the owner of the company, and Tupac was the artist, and you're kind of affiliated with both of them. He was just like, that's when he knew that he was done. He said it's just not a good look. So we move on to the spiritual awakening. Okay, so Left Eye, as you guys should know, she went to Honduras. And this was back in 2002. She did this for a spiritual cleansing. And this is when Dr. Sebi was alive, and who lived in Honduras at the time. And she was working with him. And she took a few of her friends, and she took some of her team with her. Now, prior to this trip, she did have a conversation with her mother about seeing her late father. Remember, he was killed. She saw her late father in her visions. And she said that her father kept telling her in these visions, why do you keep bothering me? You either leave me alone or come and join me. Her mother said that she herself had recurring dreams of one of her children being in a casket. So this is when it started to get real heavy. So Lisa's sister ended up, she's still talking. She said that she ran into her, and remember, her and Andre had been separated at this point. They weren't talking. They weren't on speaking terms. He didn't know she was even going to Honduras, he said, because he wasn't talking to her. So Lisa ended up running into Andre's sister, and Lisa was just asking how Andre was doing, and asked, had she seen Andre? And she told him no. She told Lisa no, and she was lying. So it ended up happening that Andre ended up seeing Left Eye in a club, and he didn't acknowledge her. He didn't invite her into the section. I don't even know if she saw him. So his homeboys were like, yo, is that Lisa? And he's like, yeah, it looks like her. And they're like, you're not going to invite her in the section? And he's like, nah. And he even said that his homeboys were really shocked, because he never denied her access to him. You know, they would always break up and get back together. And he said that he hadn't talked to her since their last breakup. And that was the last time that he actually saw her. Now that I think about it. So Left Eye, she ends up going, you know, she goes to Honduras or whatever, back to her being in Honduras. So I guess Andre was like backtracking. Anyway, so she and her crew, they were driving, and her assistant accidentally hit a little boy who was crossing the street, and he did end up passing away. So I think Left Eye ended up like paying for some of the funeral services, and her cousin and her sister said that, you know, the family wasn't mad or anything like that. And the little boy's last name just so happened to be Lopez. Do you guys remember that VH1 special that aired after Left Eye passed away? What is that called? Last Days of Left Eye, I think it was. So some of the scenes that they took from that Last Days of Left Eye VH1 documentary were in this Lifetime documentary. And it just showed footage of when she was in Honduras. And it just took me back because I remember like me and 3 of my other friends, we were in my college dorm room and we were watching that, man. And we were all like bawling our eyes out. It's so crazy. And it's just like seeing her family and loved ones like talk about her passing in this documentary. It was heavy, like especially that her mother, her best friend, like just seeing them talk about it. It was good. It was really, really good, but it was just really heavy. Now, the events leading up to her death, as well as her mother being in the kitchen and hearing crashing metal. Oh, like I said, that's when it got heavy. I'm back. So her mother was in the kitchen the day that she talked to her earlier that day, and her mother said that she was in the kitchen cooking or something like that, and she heard like crashing metal, and she was just looking like, what the heck was that? Mind you, her mother wasn't in Honduras. So she said, like, where did that noise come from, you know? And shortly thereafter, she got the phone call that her daughter had gotten into a car accident and passed away. So this was a good documentary. I'm really surprised that Lifetime actually got it right. And I am not going to go into the whole account of when everybody found out, because it just got really emotional. You know, they could have absolutely done without Andre's sister, and I'm being so serious. It's okay. She just... Fine, you know, she is his sister. I get that. But she was so nasty throughout it's like she had she was holding a grudge with her, and she still was holding a grudge. And just her attitude as though she was justified. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know why? Because she made a complete and total fool of herself. And I'm pretty sure, I did see some tweets on Twitter. People were, you know, they had like memes and stuff like that, but I didn't go too much into it because I didn't want to spoil anything, because this is before I even watched it. That's how I realized that they had this episode 1 out from Twitter, right? Very informative. But yeah, she just made a complete fool out of herself. Like, she's a total idiot. Now, they did end the episode. Oh, this was so great. They did end the episode with Andre visiting Lisa, her mom, and her first cousin. Like, they were all, I think that was her mom's house. Now, he hasn't seen them since Lisa's funeral, and her funeral was in 2002. So I thought that was good. You know, he knocked on the door and they were all talking, and he told her sister, like, my God, you look just like Lisa. And she says, yeah, you know, people mistake me for her all the time. They do favor, like, they look alike. They look like they could be twins. So he's married now. Andre, he's married now. And he has, how many kids? 4 kids. And his wife, her first and last name, maiden name, Lisa Lopez with a Z. Isn't that crazy? So it's just this was good. If you guys didn't watch it, I encourage you to watch it, especially if you grew up in the era listening to TLC and you're familiar with who Left Eye is and familiar with TLC's story and stuff like that. It was just an all-around good documentary. And like I said, the only bad apple was Andre's sister. She was really nasty and angry, and it just made her spirit just look so ugly. But everyone, even Andre, you know, the amount of the love that he has for that woman, You know, he says that he oftentimes tells his kids about Lisa Lopez and the impact that she had on the world, and the things that she did for her community. And he said his wife, she doesn't feel any type of way about it. She understands that she was an important part of his life. And it's just so crazy that the little boy in Honduras who passed away, his last name was Lopez. Andre's wife, her first and last name is Lisa Lopez. It's just, it could be considered a common name. Lopez is like as common as Smith, I guess, and Lisa is a very common name. But it was just, I don't know. Some people's spiritual energy is so powerful that things just kind of seem like unbelievable sometimes, right? So they definitely got this one right. I have to say, Lifetime, you did an exceptional job. Now, Biggie and Faith is up next. So I am going to be doing my reviews on this. And Faith is upset about it. So we'll see what it is that she is going to be upset about. Biggie is one of my favorite rappers. So Lifetime, so far you don't have any strikes as far as this miniseries is concerned. So Royal Family, if you saw it, I mean, I didn't go blow by blow. I just kind of pinpointed some of the points that stuck out to me or whatever, but get down in the comments, share your thoughts. If you've seen the documentary, you know, point out some things that stuck out to you. Let's have a discussion, as always, a respectful one. If you didn't see the documentary, Lifetime ain't paying me for this, but I do encourage you to take a look at it because it was really good, and I'm really surprised that Lifetime actually got something right lately for a change. So I am signing off. Make sure your notifications are on, Royal Family, because I'll be back soon, real soon. Until next time, peace.